Hi there! In this video I'll show you how to make and use your own multi-purpose circle of fifths. You'll find a link in the description for downloading the PDF with the instructions and the sheets with the patterns. Print sheet 1 in thick paper. This is just the frame. Cut the shapes as indicated. Fold the flaps backwards and glue or sellotape them. The little circles are just for putting them on the back and top of the center as reinforcement, if needed. Sheet 2 is just a pouch, a convenient way of storing your patterns, and of course, it is totally optional. I have used its space for including a couple of tables with the most usual chord notation symbols. The rest of the sheets have to be printed on acetate transparency. On sheet 3, you'll find the circle of notes. Depending on how you name the notes, you can choose the C, D, E, F, G, A, B circle or the Do, Re, Mi, Fa, Sol, La, Si one. You just have to cut the circle as indicated. Now make a hole in the frame and in the circle of notes. It is advisable to put a bit of sellotape on the back of the pieces to reinforce this part. It is also a good idea to reinforce a bit the top corners of the frame with sellotape. For assembling the model, you just have to stack the frame and the circle of fifths together. For me, the best option is to use a drawing pin as axis. Then add a little circle of cardboard, cut the tip, put a drop of glue, and let it dry all night. In the PDF, you'll find more ideas as to how to make the axis. On the rest of the sheets, you'll find the patterns. You don't have to print all of them, but only the ones that fit your particular needs. On the last 2 sheets, you'll find empty templates, so that you can create your own patterns by simply writing on them with a permanent marker. Now, a couple of final touches. First, you can put a bit of Tipex on the back side of all the text over black background. This way, you'll see them better. Finally, you can paint with a black marker the white inner border of the frame. Now, let's see how to use it. The circle itself, with no patterns, can be interpreted as individual notes arranged in fifths or fourths. As previously said, you can use an empty template and draw your own patterns according to your needs. For instance, the notes of the major 7th chords. The outside circle gives you the number of semitones from the top center note to the right. This is following the white arrow. On the back of the frame, there is a table with the most common intervals and their semitone distances. Of course, with time, you'll end up learning these intervals by heart, which is very advisable, but it is always good to have this reference at hand as a quick guide. The inner circle indicates the number of sharps or flats of every key. The PDF includes a set of patterns for each of these scales: major, Ionian; natural minor, Aeolian; harmonic minor, melodic minor, Dorian, Phrygian, Lydian, Mixolydian, and Locrian. Each set includes the following patterns: scale degrees, diatonic triad chords, and diatonic 4-part chords. On the diatonic triad chord patterns, the quality of the chord is expressed both with its corresponding symbol, M, a little circle, or plus, and with the Roman number, upper or lowercase, a little circle, or plus. The Roman numbers also represent the interval from the tonic. Hence the initial flats, which mean minor or diminished, or sharps, which mean augmented. The diatonic 4-part chords patterns include the corresponding sevenths. Naturally, this pattern includes all the information of the other two, and in this sense it is really the only one you need. But for learning purposes, sometimes it may be easier and less confusing to visualize only the degrees or the triad chords. For clarity, the scale degrees patterns express the degrees in Arabic numerals, whereas the other two show them in Roman numbers and taking into account the chord quality. The scale degrees patterns corresponding to the major and the 3 minor scales also include the name of the degrees. The one of the major scale also shows the relative modes, meaning that if you start the major scale from a particular position, you will be effectively constructing the corresponding modal scale. It seems some people find it confusing to see the whole circle at once and prefer to focus only on the relevant information, hiding the rest. To satisfy this preference, all the patterns are also available with a black background, what could be called dark mode. You can find them in sheets 14 to 27. You can easily find the relative modes of any given scale. The scale degrees pattern corresponding to the major scale tells us directly the different relative modes we get if we start the scale on each different note. For example, if the tonic of the major scale is C, we see that the relative modes of this scale are D Dorian, E Phrygian, F Lydian, G Mixolydian, A Aeolian, and B Locrian. Then, if you want to visualize the specific degrees of a particular modal scale, say, for example, F Lydian, you just have to use its corresponding pattern. It is as easy to use the circle of fifths for locating parallel modes. The previous idea means that if we want to find a particular modal scale starting on a particular note, we just have to look for that note and put it on the corresponding position. Say, for instance, you want to find C Lydian. For that, you just have to look for C in the circle of notes, in this case in the outer circle, and put it in the Lydian position. Following the same ideas presented here, you can easily use the circle of fifths for other things like borrowed chords, which are the ones included in the parallel modes, modal mixture, finding common passing chords for modulations, etc. Now let's talk about some of the advantages of this model. First, it is free. This product is deliberately non-commercial, because I wanted it to be as accessible as possible for all kinds of people. It is shared under a Creative Commons license that allows you to copy, redistribute, or adapt the material in any form, but you cannot use it for commercial purposes. It is quite affordable, in the sense that you will have to spend a little money in the printing and a little time in the making, but nothing else. Anybody can make one. It is multi-purpose. The PDF already covers many different patterns. but it also includes templates on which you can draw your own patterns for any purpose. Most commercial circle of fifths I have seen can be used only for one, or in the best cases, two patterns. The pattern is always fixed on top, and the rotating element is the circle of notes itself. This may seem unimportant, but when really using the circle on a daily basis for real purposes, it is much better to have the pattern always in the same position. In most of the models I have found, the rotating element is the pattern, which in my opinion is very unpractical and counterintuitive, especially when you put it in the bottom positions and have to sit upside down and left to right. It has only two rings, outer and inner, instead of three as in many models. In my opinion, this way is much neater and less confusing. The rotating circle of notes represents only that, the bare notes, and all other information is included in the removable patterns. This renders the circle much more versatile. It can be used basically for anything. The note letters are radially arranged. Some models have them all straight up, but that complicates a lot reading them. It includes three enharmonies: C-flat B, G-flat F-sharp, D-flat C-sharp. It makes the model a bit more crowded, but in this way it works for absolutely every key. Just by following the order of the notes, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, you can easily know which name of the note you need. Besides, all sharps are to the left and all flats to the right. It is just paper and transparencies. I mean, no huge cardboard pieces, no thick plastic devices, no boxes. This model is thin and small, and it fits everywhere. I think having it in paper is very practical and useful, because you can use it immediately whenever you need it. It is scalable. Given it is just a PDF, if you want, you can print any of its elements at the size or in the material you wish. That's all. Many thanks for your time. Hope you find this model useful. Enjoy it.